This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Regina League.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to today's Good Neighbor Podcast. We are broadcasting out of the South Charlotte area, and I'm excited to speak today to Brandon Glover. He is the owner of Ivy Creek Landscapes based here in Charlotte. Welcome, Brandon.
Hey, Regina, I appreciate you having me on. Happy to be here.
Oh, absolutely. So I am a passionate gardener, and I look at your website and my jaw was dropping. You have an amazing website.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's obviously a lot of great people behind that. You know, a lot of time and effort and attention to detail and a lot of great projects.
Well, what you do is very visual. So the first thing I would tell everybody is to visit the ivycreeklandscapes.com website and just get a glare at what you do. So my first question, Brandon, is how did you get into this?
Yeah, so not a normal traditional route, I would say, that most people get into landscaping. I was on my way to medical school, actually. So I was born and raised in Raleigh. I moved to Charlotte to go to UNC Charlotte. I was there in school for exercise kinesiology, and then was planning to go to Campbell University Osteopathic Med School. And so in between that time, I wanted to take, some time off because I was very blessed with having such great friends in the area. And ultimately, I truly just fell in love with the city. And so I wanted to take some time off in between, and during that time period, taking some post-bac courses at Charlotte. And I had a buddy that had a small time landscape company. And so I just worked with him because obviously I needed some money. I was a college kid, right? And then got an understanding a little bit for the business. And, I bought a steel chainsaw. I borrowed my dad's old trailer, and I posted on some local, I think it might've been Nextdoor site, literally saying, I'm a college kid, just looking for some work if you need something. And it's grown to where it is today from that exact post right there.
That is amazing. How long have you been doing this now?
The company, I'd say it'd be in landscaping in general, about 9 or so years. The company's been around for just about 7.
So a chainsaw is very far away from the work you do today. My goodness, how did you transition into this?
So it, just as I said, it started off literally cutting stuff up, right? So it started off with that chainsaw. So when people had stuff that fell, if they needed some clearing work, I would kind of help with that very simply. And then from that point, I got into residential maintenance, actually. So it went from general cleanup work as a college kid to jumping in and starting doing some maintenance, some regular lawn maintenance and aerations. From there, I started picking up some commercial clients, so getting a little bit bigger. And then from there, it started dabbling a little bit in the realm of softscapes, so planting and whatnot for residential clients. And then from there, next step up was starting to look at the hardscapes, right? So starting to get into the patios and the concrete. And then once I got a hold of that and really started seeing the industry for, the ability of what it had as far as the impact that it has on spaces and communities and people, I just dove in, right? And then learned a lot about it. And then it started really transferring into full turnkey landscape design, to where we can redo an entire backyard to, include pool houses, pools, obviously softscapes, water features, outdoor kitchens, structures. We do it all now. So that's kind of the general evolution, we'll call it, from beginning to where it's at currently.
Right. So on your website, you have a list of your services. So you mentioned softscapes, hardscapes, but pools and spas. I mean, that's wow. That's a big job.
Yeah, it's we do anything to give you an idea of our capacity. We've done anything really. Our minimum size is about 10,000. And then the largest project we ever done is about 850,000. So that was a really cool one. We're actually finishing that up right now. We're very excited to get some photos and videos of that. But yeah, we truly, our specialty is complete landscape overhauls or installs, right? So if you have a current one, or if you have a brand new build coming out, and you want someone who really specializes in outdoor living, that's really where we shine.
Well, I can tell by your business acumen, you are very smart, and I'm sure that gives confidence to people that are getting ready to invest in something like this.
Yeah, it's no joke. It really isn't. I mean, you're talking, a decent amount of money, and you want to make sure that you do it right, you do it once, and you are very happy with the result, right? I mean, it truly is an investment. Uh,
Absolutely. Yeah.
so
I read an article recently that, great landscaping can add 10 to 12% value to a home, just by beautiful plants. And then you get into these kitchens and outdoor living spaces. It just changes your life when you have all that.
yeah,
What are you most proud of in your business today?
100%. Um, I'm a people person. I love the people. Obviously, I genuinely absolutely love and I'm very passionate about what we do. But over and above all, I love the opportunity that I have to meet new people and have an impact on, ultimately and hopefully their life, right? With creating a space where they can have friends and family come. But more importantly, the environment that we've been able to cultivate here within this company. It's I wish that I could have some of our staff members on to speak to it, right? Because as the owner, I could say anything. But ultimately, it's truly a place where people can feel that they can be vulnerable and be heard, and can be in a place of personal self growth, right? And so that's what I think that I am passionate about the most and proud about the most is truly our people and the environment that we've cultivated.
That's amazing. So you are running a full-on business. Tell us about your team.
Yeah, so we have about right now on staff, off the top of my head, I think about 12 full time. So we have, office administration, we have a few project managers, we have a couple people in sales and business development, designer, we have a marketing director, we're starting to build out obviously the quote unquote division. However, one thing I will definitely never dive into is like going corporate. Uh, so I really want to make sure that we keep our quality, keep our focus on people as we grow. Because we have been growing very solidly ever since this company has really been put into place.
So when somebody thinks, "Oh, I'd like to do something in my backyard, I really don't know what." Talk to us about your process.
Yeah. So let's say you were to call. All right. Let's say typically most people will come through our website. You'll submit a form they'll have on there. And then what will happen from that point is you'll get an email. But most importantly, realistically, within 24 hours, if not within the first 2 hours, unless you did it on the weekend, you'll get a call from Wendy. So Wendy is our office administrator. She'll call you and connect with you. And then from that point, you'll get connected with someone in our sales and business development. And that's still the department that I love and that I work in. So you might get me calling you. And so ultimately, let's say it's me, right? So I'll call you and connect with you on the phone to run through the general notes that we have so far on your project. And it is okay 100% whether you know exactly what you want or whether you have absolutely no idea, right? Because
Okay.
ultimately what will happen is we'll set up an in-person consultation, and I'll come out there and meet you, or someone else come out there and meet you. It might be Amanda, and really run through the entire space. Starting, if you've got me, I'm going to start with function first, right? Because you reached out to us most likely to meet a need. And so I want to make sure that before we even look at aesthetics and how pretty you want it and the different material options, I want to make sure that when it's all completed, you get everything out of it that you wanted to. And so I'll start function first. And then after that, after we achieve our spaces and our areas and the function we want, then we'll start diving into aesthetic. And then one of our services that we do offer, which is super, super helpful, is we have full 2D, 3D designs. And so we can design the space to where you can have fly-throughs, you can have video walkthroughs, and we'll send it to you as a PDF breakdown, as well as with an overhead. So you can visually see the space before you commit to it and we start, putting shovel to dirt. That's, if you're not a very visual person, that is tremendously helpful.
Mm-hmm.
But that's our general process, right? And then we'll kind of start diving through and making some minor edits and kind of going through budget and pricing. And then from that point, You have one single project manager point of contact that connects with you. You have a pre-construction meeting that runs through everything before we start to make sure it is exactly the way you want it. Again, we're still flexible. So if you still want to make some minor changes, again, until we put the concrete down or put the pavers or pour the pool or whatever, we can still make some minor adjustments. And again, really make sure to fine tune it the exact way that you want. So again, whether you have absolutely no idea what you want, or whether you know exactly what you want, we can help you.
How true is that? Yeah, that's the way it goes. What is a project? How long does it take? I mean, I know that it's different between a pool and a fire pit, but just kind of walk us through that.
Yeah. So just as I said, our range, right? So if we're looking at just trying to correlate it to some sort of dollar amount, it heavily depends on exactly, just as you stated, what you're looking for. Because obviously different things require different types of permits and different numbers of inspections, and different stages that you'll have to do, right? So, most projects will range anywhere. Typically a minimum is like 3 to 5 day, like one full work week. And then we've had projects that, like the $850,000 one, that will end up being somewhere about 6 or so months, from shoveling the ground to full completion. And so that's generally your range. Again, it really depends on what you want. So to give you an example on what took 6 months, with that one, to give you a list of items on what we built for them, was they had, an old deck in their backyard was, had a bunch of really large trees. And so we had to clear the backyard, rip off the old deck. And what we built after we graded the lot was we had a brand new Trex deck. We had an attached screened in porch. They had a full 40 by 20 foot pool. We put in a spa. We had a custom water feature, custom fire pit area with teak seating benches and granite countertops. Granite tops for the fire pit. We had an outdoor kitchen, a pool bar, a full pool house. So an ADU unit on it, artificial turf, landscaping and planting. What else, man? With irrigation, full on lighting. They had a speaker system put in around, like, we're talking obviously to the nines, right? So that's what you can expect 6 months for something like that, because a big portion of that time was obviously we're having to connect with Duke Energy and get sub panels dropped, and then you can't complete the pool until the pool house is done. So there's a lot of things that are interconnected that can move timelines. But again, if you really of 6 months, quick 5.
Gotcha. Well, one of the things that struck me when I went to your website is that you also have a financial partner that can work with these clients if they need some financing.
Yes. So a company called Line Financial we partner with. And what's great about them is they're actually local. And so they're based out of Mooresville. And so that's been a very great contact, and they've done an amazing job with our clients. And they can fund up to, I believe it's $200,000 projects, and that goes anywhere from general planting and landscapes up to pool projects. So they can get you funding, and it's a very simple, smooth process. And again, they are local. And then when you do call them, you get literally someone from right down the road picking up and answering your phone call. Obviously, just along with, they're going to be partnered with their clients, they're partnered with us, and that gives me a lot of confidence, which is what gave me the security to be able to allow that to our clients, because they had great quality.
Well, and I guess it also expands the vision then when, they know while you're tearing the yard up, why not make it a full-on drain backyard?
Yes, absolutely. And, when it comes to projects, when I'm thinking cost wise, right, like $850,000 is, top couple percentage points, right? Like you can get an absolutely fantastic backyard. I would say majority of our projects, realistically, average wise, if you want a pool with a really like some added water features and stuff and some brand new landscaping, you could be spending anywhere, 150 to 300. And otherwise, if you just want really nice hardscapes and planting and stuff, you could go anywhere from 20 grand up to that, 100 grand mark.
Mm-hmm.
So just to give, anyone who's listening an idea on general cost or stuff like that, don't think that it's going to be 150 grand for a pool, right? So I just want to give you a good idea. So we don't have any, freaking out about something.
Yeah. So timeline we've discussed. Is there anything else you would like to share with us before we close today?
Yeah, really. One of our something we put a lot of emphasis on is our communication. We've seen, we connect with a lot of other people in the industry. And that's one thing that we noticed, that like a lot of other other clients will call us and tell us like, hey, we've had this experience with somebody else. And that's why we've kind of been looking for, another company. And that's why they reach out to us, is what I'm referring to as communication. And the fact that we're not only quick, but we're like, talking. Those people are going to be throughout the whole process. So obviously, or one of our reps,
we've got connection issues.
Can you hear me?
So as we wrap up today, Brandon, what would you like our listeners to know about you and your company?
Yeah, when it comes to our company, and really what I think makes us so great in working with us, is our communication. And so you're going to have very specific, there's only going to be a few people that are going to connect with you, and those people are going to be connected with you throughout the entire process. So I'd say, obviously, if you get me or another one of our sales or business representatives or designers from the beginning, like that person is not, once everything is, you finalize a design and come to an agreement, you're not just going to be handed off to a project manager. And then you're going to go through a few different hands and not know who to talk to. That same salesperson is going to be connected with you throughout the entire project process. They'll be the one to link you up with the project manager, and you're only going to have one constant project manager point of contact also throughout your entire build process through to the beginning. And so everyone that has started with you from the beginning is going to be with you till the end, to really ultimately make sure that is a very, very smooth process. And ultimately you get the result that you're really looking for. And that's what I want to make sure that people really know.
Well, and that's what sets you apart. That's why you're so successful, I can tell, as well as, the work you do. So let's end by reminding everybody or telling them how to find you guys, how to reach you guys.
Yeah. So I'd say the best way, since this is a visual, as you kind of talked about before, is just check us out on our website. So ivycreeklandscapes.com. That's spelled IVYCREEK landscapes.com. And for some reason, in case you happen to have a pen and paper in front of you, phone number is 704-924-0111. And if you're a social media person, you can find us on Facebook or Instagram at Ivy Creek Landscapes.
Fantastic. Brandon, it's a pleasure getting to know you and learn a little bit about, what sets you guys apart. Great company.
Absolutely.
Great
Thank
work.
you so much, Regina. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpsouthcharlotte.com. That's gnpsouthcharlotte.com, or call 980-351-5719.